Hey guys, if you're a trader who's been struggling to pass your funded account with a prop firm, I'm going to walk you through a simple strategy that I've been able to use and teach my mentees to deploy to pass their evals. I've done it successfully multiple times with Apex, and my mentees have also done the same. So I'm going to walk you through this simple process in this quick video. So buckle up, let's dive in. So before we dive into the video, what I just wanted to do is just walk you through Apex, right? Because this is the place where I get my funded accounts as well as my students as well. So Apex Trader Funding, it's a prop firm. And what that basically means is that you take an evaluation, which is more like a test to prove that you know how to trade. And you have different account sizes that you can select. And I'll show you guys in a minute. And once you pass your eval, Apex will actually then give you what's called a performance account, which essentially is the account with the funding for you to actually start trading. So with Apex, as you can see, they've given out quite a lot of money in terms of compensation to their traders. About $500 million has already been distributed out as payouts, which is great because you always want to work with the prop firm that you know has a lot of customers and it also pays out. Now, there are three different accounts you can pick from, three different plans. I apologize. There's the wealth chats. It's good, but I don't really like it. And then the other one is rhythmic. It's also okay, but I don't really like it. The one that I use is Tradeovate, and the example that I'm going to be showing you today is actually going to be through Tradeovate, but through their integration with TradingView, which is what I like, is to be able to do my charting on TradingView and also do my trading on TradingView as well. And with the Tradeovate plan, you have the ability to do that. Now, let's walk through the different account sizes. So as you can see, you have a $25,000 account, and you have to hit 1,500 in terms of profit goal, and your trailing threshold is also 1,500. The next one is the 50K, which I recommend when you're starting you use because the profit goal is 3,000 and your trailing threshold is only 2,500. They also have 100K, 150K, 250, and 300. The reason why I like the 50K account is, remember, the profit goal you have to hit is 3,000 and your trailing threshold is 2,500. Now pay attention to this, right? On a 300K, your trailing threshold is only 7,500, but you have to hit $20,000 in profit. So as you can see, there's a wide range between how much you can lose in profit versus how much you can make, how much you're supposed to make in profit. So I like the 50K one because you only need to hit a $3,000 goal, but you have 2,500 in terms of wiggle room, which gives you a lot of options. So now we're going to dive into the strategy that I use when I'm trading an eval in order to pass an eval. And like I said, this is a strategy that I've been able to give to a lot of my students. And in fact, let me actually show you in my Discord community. So now take a look at this. This is on May 30th, and you can see Pedro, and I've hidden his last name just for privacy. He passed his fifth eval, and he was able to do this in a week using the strategy that I'm going to share with you guys. 5 eval taken, 5 evals passed in a week. So if you've been struggling passing your eval, you might want to lock in and pay attention to the strategy that I'm about to deploy. Take a look. Kareem, again, I've hidden his last name just for privacy. He also passed a 50K eval. In fact, Kareem has 3 50K accounts and 1 250K account. So that's 4 accounts, guys. And that's in fact $400,000 in funding that he now has on Apex. And it's cool for me to brag about my students. What about me? Well, this is my account. And you can see these are all the evals that I've passed. You can just see, like, in the month of April alone, I passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 evals in the month. There were certain days where I actually passed 2 evals in a day. Like on this day right here, I passed 2 evals on the same day. I did the same thing in the month of March as well, passed 2 evals on the same day. But you can clearly see that there is a level of consistency with me being able to pass my evals. And obviously in the month of May, I was more focused on trading the evals that I passed So that's why I didn't really take a lot of evals in the month of May. But clearly, I've figured out and cracked the code on how to take these evals. And you can see all of these are 50K accounts. So I'm going to walk you through the strategy that I use, and hopefully you can learn something and you can also deploy it. So buckle up. So we are in my TraderVate account, and I'm going to walk you through the strategy. So I'm trading a 50K account. The goal is to hit $3,000 in profit without losing 2,500 on your trailing threshold. And I'm going to show you the strategy that I deploy when I'm taking my evals. Now, there are two schools of thought. School of thought number one is gradually get to the 3,000, right? So you could set a daily goal of, hey, I want to make $600 a day in profitability, trade it over 5 days, and get to 3,000. I appreciate it. I used to trade it that way before, but for me, with an eval, the way I look at it is like, the sooner you pass it, the better, right? When you're trading your performance account, once you've passed your eval, you should be very, very conservative. But I just want a disclaimer that the strategy that I use to pass my evals is very, very aggressive, right? So that's just kind of like the lay of the land. Now, what I do is I look for what I call a high probability setup. So the setup that I look for here is I look for liquidity rates. And the way I look for liquidity rates first is I use this session indicator that shows me the Asia high and the Asia low. So over here, I now know like, okay, this is my Asia range high. So I just call it AR high. And then also over here, I can identify my Asia range low. And then I just call this my AR low. So that's all I need from this indicator. And if you need the name of the indicator, there's a link in the description with a PDF that will have information on how you can add this indicator to your TraderVate. It's free, and you can pretty much grab it. So as you can see right now, this is 8 a.m. and you can see price is approaching my Asia range high. So what I would be looking for is either a potential sweep of this Asia range high and then a drop down to my Asia range low. So this is ideally the setup that I'm looking for. Now, remember, I just have to hit $3,000 in my profitability. And with a 50K account, I can have as much as 10 contracts. And I normally just like to load up. So what I then do is identify a move that will just give me 26 ticks, because with the 26 ticks, it'll then give me the 3250, and then obviously identify a stop loss that will basically get me stopped out. So normally I just like to maybe give it a little bit of wiggle room, but essentially I'm risking, as you can see, I told you this is like a very aggressive approach, but I'm risking almost my entire trailing threshold, but I'm also maximizing and making sure that I do hit my profitability. So essentially, one trade can essentially pass my eval for me. So with that having been identified, right, this is the setup that I'm looking for. I can now just calculate to see like, okay, how many ticks are between here and there? As you can see, it's 154 ticks if you actually see this downward move to the downside. So let's say you don't even catch the whole 154. Let's assume you catch 80, right? That's a $10,000 move right there. So what you could also then do is you could reduce the number of contracts if you want to say like, okay, since I'm going to be targeting 80 ticks, with 5 contracts, am I able to get there? Yes. I think you're actually able to get there with 3 contracts, right? So you're not even taking all 10, as you can see, but I like to just give it a little bit of wiggle room so that it takes away like the commissions and fees, right? So I just like to increase it a little bit. So we'll say 85 ticks. So essentially, I know that if we sweep this liquidity, there's a high probability that we can come down to this low. So essentially, the setup that I'm looking for here is I'm going to set my trailing stop to 18 ticks, not my trailing stop, just my stop loss. So that's kind of like the move that I'm looking for. And then obviously to the downside, I'm looking for 85 ticks. So I come over here and that's 85 ticks. So right there. So this is essentially the move that I'm looking for, right? As I'm looking for price to come up, grab this liquidity, and then drop down. So now that we're all aligned on the game plan, what I'll then do is I'm just going to drop down to a 3-minute and then identify when exactly I'll take my entry. So I'm just going to go down to the 3-minute time frame, and then just going to move this around here. And then we'll take a look and see what happened with price. I'm just going to move myself up here because I just want to hit the play button. And then as you can see, I'd like to take this entry around 9:30. So as you can see, this is 9:24 right before market open. So at 9:24, boom. You see, so price goes up and does the liquidity raid. Now, what I look for is I look for one candle to open and close in the direction of my trade, and then the second candle to then open in the same direction. So since I'm looking at this on a 3-minute, I need this 3-minute candle to close red. And then when the next candle also opens and is showing me that it's red, that's when I take my entry. All right. So in this particular case, you can see we have a red candle, green, and then red. So I'm taking my entry on this candle right here, right? So let's say I take the entry maybe somewhere around here. I'm still holding my 18 ticks. And this is the move that I'm targeting to the downside. You can then see, boom, right? I would have hit my target and I would have literally passed my eval in one test. And like I mentioned to you guys before, I'm looking for a sweep of this liquidity. And since I'm looking for a sweep of this liquidity, I'm not quite sure when it's actually going to start to retrace to the downside. So that's essentially why I wait. Red candle opens and closes. I see a green one, so I'm not taking the entry. And then over here, I take the entry. Let's say you were looking at it on a 1-minute, right? Essentially, you could have taken your entry on the open of this second candle right here. And you can see, although it would have retraced, you wouldn't have been stopped out because you took your entry at that open. Let me actually align it perfectly. So boom. So at that open, you take your entry, price pulls back, but then it does its thing. So even if you're looking at this from a 1-minute perspective, you'd have been okay because you'd have still been able to take your entry and potentially just watched price retrace a little bit, but inevitably it would have hit your target. So essentially you would have made close to $3,200 in a few minutes and you'd have passed your eval. So one thing I'd like to point out is when you go with a lower contract size, you can still see I kept my stop loss at 18, meaning I would have only lost $600, $675 out of my 2,500. So had this gone and hit my stop loss, guess what? I wouldn't have been out of the game because I would still have about $1,800 in trading threshold to still enter the trade, maybe on this candle, right? Maybe on this third candle right here, right? Had this hit our stop loss, I could have re-entered right here and then still been able to take it all the way down and had the possibility to not only recoup the profits, but potentially pass the test if I was to maybe put more contracts onto the next play. So just wanted to give you guys a quick tip there where if you can lower your contract size but increase your take profit, your stop loss can then enable you to then take this particular trade with multiple entries. Now, like I said earlier, this strategy is more on the aggressive side, but what I do like about it is that you pass your evals. Pedro passed 5 evals using this same strategy in 5 days. Essentially, he was averaging an eval a day. So if you've been struggling and you don't really know what to do, something for you to consider. So this is not the strategy that you want to deploy if you're buying your Apex evals at full price. Normally, I like to do this when they have a deal going on. Right now, they have a 71% deal. Sometimes they have 90% deals. So when they have a 90%, I tend to load up on my evals. And if I let's say have 10 evals, and then I use this aggressive approach and pass 5, and then I blow the other 5, it's still a win, because those 5 that I got at a 90% discount have the potential to give me tens of thousands of dollars once I'm trading them as PAs. So I'm going to include a link below where you can actually just get the best deal that Apex will have on their evals at any given time. So just click the link below. It's also here on the screen for you guys to take. And then if you have any questions about this strategy, let me know in the comments. If you do try it out and if it doesn't work for you, let me know. But if you actually do try it out and it works, would love to know and would love to celebrate your success. So hopefully this helps you just stop the rot, right? When it comes to failing your evals, and it can shift you into a new season where evals will become the easiest thing in the world, and then you go from there. Now, if you want me to create a video that focuses on how to now trade your PA, you're not trading your PA like this. The strategy that I've just shared with you is for your evaluation. Now, once you've passed your evaluation, and now you're actually starting to trade a performance account to actually get paid real money, there's a different strategy I deploy. And if you guys want me to share that strategy, let me know in the comments and I will create a video showing you how I trade my performance accounts. So hope this helps somebody, and I'll see you guys in the next video.